working with my Tide Pools colorway here. Okay, so I've added wool in hopefully a bit of an irregular manner. I don't like straight lines a whole lot in my work. Okay, so now I've built myself a wool base that I can start adding all these textures to. The second most important thing to remember about this process is wool is the glue of the process. And so none of these textures will stay down unless they're on top of glue, on top of wool, which is the glue of the process. So the very easiest things to get to felt in are natural fiber, very lightweight textures. And I have a whole selection of things here that are easy to find in the marketplace that you can add to your work, and you get beautiful results. But these are mostly silk and cotton. They're natural fibers, and they will not stay on your scarf unless you put them on top of the wool. Okay, this is silk threads called Silk Throster's waist. And unless I break it down so it's very, very fine, the wool won't be able to hold it. It makes that wonderful bumpy texture for you. So see how I broke it down? So the little barbs on the wool will come through and hold that. So I'm going to put this down a couple of different places. Sometimes you have to cut this with your scissors to get it into a small enough clump. So I'm starting to build up some interesting colors and textures on this blue scarf. So it will look like a tide pool where lots of things have collected. Okay, all right. The next thing I'm going to choose is a little bit of silk fabric. This is a lightweight silk fabric, but can you see how it's been deconstructed? It's been broken down. I just simply pulled on it to pull it apart. But again, I have to make holes in these things in order for the wool to be able to hold on to it. Just put that there. I didn't get much contrast in that. Okay, how about a piece of silk hanky? Silk hankies are actually silk cocoons that have been stretched on a frame, and the edges of the silk hanky make a sort of ribbon-like texture in your work. They come in sheets, and they're a little bit hard to separate, but you're not trying to get anything in a perfect order here. So I'm going to cut off a little bit of my edge. That's okay. You really can't hurt this process. I encourage my students not to worry because you really can't hurt anything in this process. So I cut off an edge of the silk hanky, and I'm just going to lay that on the wool. All right. So it's all on top of the glue. Here's some silk and bamboo roving. Again, these are all readily available in the marketplace. This makes a really beautiful sheen. This is an example of a different color of silk and bamboo roving once it's felted. All these things are going to shrink up when they felt. So I encourage people to go a little tiny bit past their comfort zone in adding textures and colors, because when you felt this, these things are all going to get less obvious. They're going to felt down a little bit. Let's see if I can add some different colors to this one. These are also threads, silk threads, really, really lightweight, but I'm still going to break it down. I'm still going to break it down so the wool can hold on to it. Okay, so you can begin to see how I'm accumulating all these textures. Another wonderful thing to use is cheesecloth, cotton cheesecloth. I do sell these, but you can also find this in the marketplace for sale. Just going to take off a little bit of it. Can you see how open and lightweight that is? This is just a perfect thing to felt in. You can deconstruct it so you get it down to the size of interesting little threads. But the wool will hold that really, really easily. Okay.